Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be learning how to do this. Yes, today we will be learning how to do a disintegration effect inside of Nuke. These are all done in Nuke. There's no outside plugin, and it's going to be a very interesting topic. So let's get started. All right. So first, I shoot a video from my phone, and that's very rough 1720 by 480 pixel resolution, and I Roto all 200 frames. You can see that one right there, and I copy pre-mult. As you can see right there, and after that I was trying to figure out how to layer stuff, like when you get hit by a lightning and you disintegrate, what would be the internal organs or the bones or the muscles that will show. So that's where I decided to download a few images, and those images were this one right here, the skeleton, the muscle right there, that's the muscle, and some burned skin right there, and additional other blur skin. So let's go back to my footage and see what I did on, because I did this by different layers of disintegrating. So this is the first disintegrated effect that I did. If you look at the alpha right here, so it starts at frame 70. So this is the alpha that I created. It's usually 3 types of noises. First is a small noise with a size of 14, and I animated a Z. The second noise is a little bigger, same animation but a little bigger, and the third is the biggest right there. And I created an alpha right there. That's the alpha right there. And if you notice, I had a time offset here. If I'm gonna disable the time offset, this is how it looks like. They're all the same, but if you add time offsets, it will fade it out. So play around with the time offset. I did -4, -7 on the biggest, and from there I I shuffled the alpha from my footage, and I added it and I masked it through the roto that I did. And this is how it looks like right here, right there. And then mask my own footage. There. It looks all right, but then I was thinking, well, the disintegration should move, you know. So I made a distortion effect using the iDistort and the copy node. So I just animated, and I animated the transform from the noise. That I animated it diagonally, and from the copy node I switch it to forward U, RGBA alpha to forward U, and the other one is RGBA alpha to forward V. Okay, and the noise has all the red, green, and blue channels right there. And then after that, I added an iDistort there. I added an iDistort. I switched the channels to RGBA from the iDistort. From the UV channels, I switch it to forward, and I check U and V, and I play around with the UV offset, the UV scale. You don't have to touch this one, the blur scale, but if you want, you could do it. So that's the difference. If there's no iDistort, no iDistort, with iDistort. It's a pretty cool effect right there. It's like your flesh is like ripping apart. And I masked the iDistort with this guy right here, with an inverted mask. I just put an invert right there. So that's the whole alpha if you look at it. Starts with a screen right shoulder, scrub it. Looks alright. And so now my second approach is, well, inside the skin will be the muscles, and then the last layer will be the bones or the skeleton. So I grab the downloaded image of the burned skin, and I cleaned it up, copy pre-mult, color correct it a little bit, add a little transform node just to fit it with my footage scale, and I added additional meat, burned skin, and I cleaned it up some more right there. I was on frame 7. I painted it on frame 75, and I added a grid warp animation just to match the footage. So that's how it looks like, and if you compare it to my footage right there, That's how it looks like. This one is the same setup as this one, the Alpha Disintegrated Skin. So I just select it, copy it, paste it right here, and same setup right there. And then I just copy the same distort effect, and I added a time offset because this layer will come off after the skin. And added some extra additional rotos just to clean it up. And I will explain this one later on what I did over here. But let's go first to the bones. So same setup. I downloaded the bones, reformatted it accordingly, and I cleaned it up. What I did was I actually used a shuffle blue channel, grade it up. From the grade I use RGBA, black point 0.72, white point 0.94. Make sure you check white clamp and black clamp. And then I inverted it. So now I have a nice RGBA right here. And I cleaned it up just a little bit using a mask. I eroded it a little bit. And then I use this one as the alpha to copy pre-mold the image. There. So you don't have to make a lot of rotos in it. That's a very fast way to make an alpha. So from there I separated the top head because I was thinking, well, this guy should be moving just to match my footage. It doesn't have to match 100%, but at least I could make it move. So that's what I did. So this guy, I added a grid warp right there. That's the animation right there. It's very simple animation, nothing fancy. And this guy right here, I painted extra details on it. So when this guy goes up, it will still be connected. Because without the roto paint, it looks like that. So, and I added additional grid warp just to match the proportions of the footage of my body. And I added a color correct just to give it a warm tone. And I did an additional skin right here. So I just painted everything, make one whole texture map, and I multiply it on top because I was thinking that this guy is too clean, you know, it's too clean right there. So I decided to, from this, I mask it using this guy's alpha, and I color correct it, and then I multiply it on top right there. So at least the skeleton has a little bit of texture and it's dirty. It doesn't have to be, I mean, you could develop and give it more convincing textures, but for me, this is just for the tutorials. So I was thinking like, yeah, I think that this will be okay. And again, I copy the setup that I did on the alpha disintegration there, and copy the distort effect as well, and I gave it a time offset because the skeleton will be the last one. It will be the last one that will disintegrate. So first the skin, second will be the muscle, and then third will be the skeleton. Oh, I forgot. I'll show you the muscle. Okay, so this is the muscle. So it's not complete, it's just half. So I cut the other half, and then I put a grid warp in it and make it straight right there. So, and I mirror it horizontally, and then I merge them both on top, and it gives you that. And I shuffled the alpha to blue channel, put a grade on it, paint a little something, use it as an alpha, copy pre-molded it, and edit it some more, give it a little roto paint, and then I match it in proportion to my body with the grid warp, and I also animated it right there. It's not much animation, just very simple animation there. And again, I copy the disintegration effect and the distortion effect right there, plus the time offset. All right, so if we go down to the tree, first will be, and I added a glow too, tolerance 0.115, brightness, saturation, and size, and I merge the muscle on top. Let's move a little bit right here, maybe here. Okay, I like that. Okay, so first, again, that's the skeleton, that's the muscle, this is the burned skin, and this is me right here. Looking scary, yeah. But yeah, it looks promising, you know. If you scrub it, it looks all right. And I added an additional effect using a time echo right there, because I noticed that when the disintegration effect shows, it's too short. I was thinking it should go all the way up here at least. So what I did was I postage stamped this guy, and I animated it using a transform. I animated it, I made it move just a little bit, because time echo will show properly if you move an image. So with that said, when I put time echo, it becomes like this. And I gave it 10 on frames to look at and frames to fade out 5. And then I copy this transform, paste it here, and I click invert to stabilize it so it doesn't move. But the effect is already there. So pretty neat trick, right? Yeah, so you could try this one right here, time echo. Without that, that's how it looks like. And then I gave it the same effect, the disintegration effect, right there. And I added a higher value of the distortion effect. I gave it a 3 on the UV offset, and I grid warp it just a little bit to match my head, and I merge it below the burnt skin. So without the time echo, the burnt skin should be looking like this as it disintegrates. But if you merge it with the time echo, it's way better right there. So big difference, right? Big difference. And I added a stencil right here just to you will see the purpose of this one later on as we move along, but I added a glow just to make it feel like it's burning, and you merge it on top right there. And I downloaded an image for the background, color correct it, defocus it, reformat, and I added a light trap from the background. That's the foreground. Added a light trap, diffuse 48, intensity 5, generate wrap only, check, disable luminance base wrap, check, enable glow, check. And you could play around with the settings, it depends on you. So the background in my footage with the effect is now merged, and light trap will be merge plus right there. Okay. That's the light trap. And after that, everything was looking good. I was like, it's actually pretty good. And I was thinking, I think I can do more. You know, I can add more particles coming out. So with that said, I was thinking, you know what? Let me play around with the particle emitter. So that's what I did on the particle emitter. So I grab a particle emitter, right there, and my settings were emission rate 6, threshold 0.5, max lifetime of 45, and the important thing is the velocity. It should be 0.13, or you could play around, because if you don't adjust the velocity, it's gonna go really fast. So the velocity inside a particle emitter makes the particles slow down right there. And I don't want to play around with the timeline because it's very heavy. So yeah, so you could try to copy my settings, or you could play around with your own. And the size, I put it to 0.1 on the size, and I connect it with a sphere. If you look down, this is a sphere. I connect the image to a constant. You could choose whatever color you want, and I connect it to the Pickwick particle right there. If you disconnect it, it becomes the default shape of the particles, but if you connect it right there, that's the shape. And from there, I added a particle drag just to slow it down a little bit. You could try to scrub the timeline right there. Without the particle drag, it's a little bit fast right there. But with the drag, it becomes a bit slow. And I added for the particle drag, I just put 0.06. I didn't change any of this right here. And I added a particle vortex just to make it look organic. I changed the tangential to 0.002. Mine was the scale of the size of my particle emitter was very small, so that's why the values here are a bit small. Radial is 0.001. I didn't touch the conditions right there. And you could play around with the settings, it depends on you. And from the particle vortex, I added a particle turbulence right there. Gave it more organic look. And so I added a strength of 0.025 on the X, Y, and the Z. Scale is 5. And offset, I went to edit expression and I typed this one, frame/100. And it will give an offset animation, make it more organic look right there. It's looking pretty cool. And I added particle curve to control the size right there. From the particle curve, I check the size. You could click here and you could check the size, and then you play around with you could drag it. It starts from 1, you could drag it all the way down right here. Let me copy this one so that you guys could, or I could grab another particle curve. So from there, particle curve, I click size, and immediately you will see the green line right here. And I click size right there. And I could select the whole thing and just drag it all the way down. And to taper the size, I can select this guy right here and just taper it down. And then it becomes like that. Pretty cool, right? So that's how I got that look right there. And I use a card for the particle to emit. Without the card, that's how it looks like, but with the card, that's how it looks like right there. And if you switch to 2D tab and you view it, I double click the scanline render and I go to the multi-sample tab and I added a sample of 14. If you go to 0, that's how it looks like. But if you go if you type 14 on the samples, it gives a nice motion blur effect. And the shutter, I put it to 1.2. You could play around with the settings on it. And I added a pre-mult just to have the proper alpha there. And I grade it up, play around with the grade, and added a glow. Give it a little bit of a nice warm color. Play around with the tolerance and the size. And from there I was thinking, oh, I think I can use these these setup to also create like a subtle smoke. So same thing as this guy right here, but bigger size right there. So if you view it, it's a lot bigger. Pre-multed, give it a little blur, color corrected, and I use the alpha of the disintegration effect to mask these guys right here. So it reveals and follows the animated roto, revealing all the layers. And I added some multiply in it just to give it, to emphasize it just a little bit. And I added another multiply for the opacity. So when you put them all together, let's go to frame 102. That's the effect right there. Plus the background, the light trap, and this is the particle right there. Oh, that is the black particle. Wait, okay. I forgot to mention the burned particle. So I set up the embers right here, the ember particles. But I forgot to mention that I also did the burned particle. It's like an extra particle that comes out from the burned skin. So from the footage, I postage stamp it, and I use the project 3D node. But before that, I invoked a model builder node, and I modeled this guy right here. And I projected the footage to the model builder with the camera right there. So this is the setup right there. Project 3D. This one is in the camera. This one is in the footage. And the geo from the model builder, you connect it here. So for those who are not familiar with the model builder node, I can give you like a very quick demonstration. So if you go to model builder and you double click it, and on the interface right here on the screen left, there's shape, there's align mode, edit mode, UV mode, and selection mode. So you go first to this mode, and you grab a cube and you drag it right there, and then you click the edit mode. Once you click the edit mode, it activates the selection mode. You could do it here right there, or you could right click and do it here. So I go face selection. So every face you select, it turns blue. You could move it. When you press Control Shift, it's the scale. When you press Control, it shows you the rotation. So to extrude, you just right click the selected face and click extrude, and then you move it right there. Click this one, extrude, you move it right there. Click this one, extrude. So it's like Maya, you model it. And when you're satisfied with the object, you just select it on the properties and you press bake right here. Bake. And then it gives you the baked model builder. Thus, now you could project it from the footage, which is this guy right here. Okay, so that's projection right there, basic projection. So from there, I set up a particle emitter, and I animated the emission rate from 200 to 0 on a particular frame, from frame 40 to 50. And the settings of my particle emitter are max lifetime 100, velocity is 0, that's the important part right there. Velocity is 0, size is 0.0065, is very small, and I click color from texture. So if I uncheck this one, that's how it looks like. But if I click color from texture, the particle adapts the color of the footage. You could switch it to in order, nothing happens, or just randomly right there. And I added a particle gravity. And from the particle gravity, I went to the region tab, and I switched the region to box, and then it will reveal this guy right here. And I animated the box to translate X. So what this box does is it will make your particle disintegrate. So if you go right there, that's pretty cool, right? So again, from the particle gravity, you go to region, switch it to box, animate the translate X. Make sure that you adjust the uniform scale right there. The scale just play out. It depends on how big your geo is. So once you animated it, I added a particle turbulence to give it, more organic look. Strength is 0.0041 and so on and so forth. Scale is 1.2, 1.4, and 1.4. And from there, I added a scanline render. You don't see it right here, but if you connect a constant, that's how it looks like. From a scanline renderer, I go to multi-sample, added a 14 samples and 0.7 shutter. If you adjust the samples, it becomes like that, but if you add a value of 14, it gives you a nice motion blur from the scanline render. And I gave few adjustments right here. Added a filter road, added a blur, stencil it out, time offset, and then added a glow. And now we're ready to merge it to the main tree. So let's view this guy right here. Oops, a little heavy. Background, light wrap, and then this integrated particle. And then merge plus the ember particles. And just to give it more make it more dramatic, I added blur plus right there. One is the value of 10 and the other one is value of 50 right there. Makes it look dramatic. And I plus the subtle smoke from the setup, embers and smoke. And I was thinking, oh, this one looks decent already. So I was thinking, well, what I need to tell a story. And I was thinking, you know what? I think this guy got hit by a lightning. So I was thinking I'll download the lightning picture later. So I'm gonna create a burning edge, which is that one right there. If you merge plus it, so what I did on this one is I used the same Roto and I gave it 2 filter erodes. That's the Roto. And I just added a shuffle alpha just for safety. And I stencil it using different filter erodes right there. One is thicker, the other one eats in, and I stencil them together, and it gave me a nice line. Blur it out a little bit. Use it as an alpha to mask a noise right there. That's medium noise, large but more small noises, larger but smaller noises. And I gave them each a different constant colors and I merged them together. That's what it looks like. Added a little bit of glow and multiply. So if you play them, it goes like that. Time offset it, and I used my character's alpha. Plus it on top, and I added some overall color corrections and adjustment layers. This guy right here, this one is the brighter color. This one is to darken the bottom, and this one is just like give it more warm color, and I blur plus everything on top right there. And I added a classic silhouette, but like I mentioned earlier, I needed a story on this thing, so I downloaded a lighting right there. I mirror it so that it matches, because I wanted to struck on my screen right shoulder, and it happens on frame, this guy right there. Happens on frame 76, and I said, ow, and I reacted, and then I disintegrated on the following frames right there. And I added a little camera shake, little crop, and voila, that's how it looks like. And I also made the thumbnail right here. So I rendered this thing out, I mirrored, and then I gave it a transform, so that I can merge them together like that. Merge them together, crop it, give it a frame hold of 102, color correct it, and I gave it a little text. Well, text is easy, so I don't have to explain it. And I rendered a thumbnail right there. So that's my thumbnail, and this is my render. So hope you guys like my tutorial. And I went it a little bit fast because of the time that I needed to have on my YouTube channel. So hope you guys learned something. If you guys got any questions, feel free to message me and ask, and I'll try my best to answer all your questions. So this is it, my disintegration effect tutorial using Nuke, and it's got a story right there. Boom, got hit by lightning, disintegrated, and you know, I could still improve this one if I wanted to, but for the sake of tutorial, this is what I come up with. I can still tweak it as much as I can. There's still a few issues that I really wanted to, but I was like, you know what, I think this will be okay. So hopefully you guys like it. Subscribe, like, and comment on my video. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.